everybody, and welcome to another week here at Just Gay Stuff Podcast. My name is Jess.
And I'm Lauren.
And now we are currently, as this episode airs, nearing the end of Melt Festival here in Brisbane. And so far, I have to say, it has been absolutely amazing. Yeah. Quickly want to give a giant shout out to the productions and the people that we've spoken to. So, starting with Heart of the Man with our friend Matt Young, Fountain Lakes in Lockdown with Art Simone and all the amazing other drag queens. Also, our friend Lydia from a couple of episodes ago, Lydia Coulson with their production of Burn It. It was amazing. All we can say is get out there, support your queer creatives, support your fellow creatives, because all of this work deserves the biggest audience.
Yeah, it really does. And I guess we're truly blessed to have been able to see all these productions.
Oh, definitely. And it's because of our guests and because of our listeners that we get to do all these things. So definitely show your support to these productions. And if they come back, make sure you get there.
Yeah.
We like to keep the festivities going, don't we?
We do. It's a party house in here.
It is a party house at Just Gay Stuff. And so, in fact, we have some guests with us today.
We do. Today we have Storm and Jas from Gay Skate joining us.
Hello, Storm and Jas.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, girls. How are you?
We are good. How are you?
I didn't do a pronoun check. Should we do that?
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Oh, I'm she, her.
She, her.
Excellent.
Nice and
She,
simple.
her.
She, her.
Oh,
Lesbians in the
same
house.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's girls club over here.
Oh, and Mylene, also a girl, as far as we know.
I mean,
Yeah. Okay. Look at her little face. For anyone who's not watching the video, you're missing out on the little papa.
might end up in promo just because Jess loves
Dogs.
dogs.
I love dogs.
Happy to
Dogs are
send
life.
photos, yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
definitely do.
please.
Definitely do.
So if you're a skater in Brisbane and surrounds, you will know what gay skate is. But for the people that don't, do you guys want to explain what gay skate is about?
Oh, sure. It's an all ages, everyone welcome queer culture event, usually at a roller skating rink. It's been running, I think, almost 13 years. But in the last, I know, with a break, because I had a baby. Just in the last couple of years, we've had a big resurgence. We just thought it was time. It's really great. It's an event, I think, that's really uplifting and supportive for the whole community, but particularly for young people, for queer people. And we're also known to be super trans. So it's a radically inclusive event.
It very much goes against the standard sort of cliche of a gay event of gay men wearing glitter and drag queens. It's very hyper-inclusive.
That's amazing. All-inclusive events is what we need around for sure.
Yeah.
And where did the idea for Gay Skate come from?
It actually is a tradition from the 1980s, so 1981 in other states and 1982 in Brisbane and Queensland. The local skate rink at Red Hill Skate Arena had a gay night, and it was just one of the places people could go and be together and have fun as a community. Apparently it was amazing and a sight to behold. So my rink owner mentioned it to me as someone strangely who might be interested, and we were like, let's just do it.
All the skate rink community knew about the Red Hill Gay Skate, and it wasn't a publicised event other than within the gay community, but all the rink community and the skate community knew about it.
Yeah, and people were still talking about it. So I said, let's do it. And then we changed it to be, more family friendly, because myself and a lot of us were having kids or planning kids or had kids. And we just thought that it'd be a great place for rainbow families as well, and to make kind of a public space more friendly to our community. Not that it wasn't friendly, but really inviting us in. And then it went from there. We've done it in lots of different ways. Like we've done like fundraisers during the floods, and we did fundraise for all sorts of different LGBT social groups for different workplaces. Like really any excuse. If someone wanted a gay skate, we would just have one.
Yeah, well, that's
we
the
just
best
book
thing.
it and we do it.
And something you touched on then was also about how family friendly you've made the event. That's so
You
important.
took it out of my head,
Well, because we talk about so much all the time. Gay culture is so stereotypically
clubbing.
18 plus.
Yeah,
and we need
exactly.
so many more events to include like our younger people that are coming out or, are
Literally.
going through their own journeys,
Yeah.
and to feel safe in a space and see people in real life that they
Literally.
can relate to.
We actually decided to restart Gay Skate when Jazz and I and our daughter Ruby were at the rink, just at a general session on a Saturday morning, just skating around. We were holding hands, singing to each other with cliches. I think there was possibly Xanadu or something really embarrassing. Actually, it was ABBA. And this young queer person came up to us, very teenager, and was nearly in tears, just saying how amazing it was to see people out there, queer people out there, just in a general state, not at a pride or something like that. So it was quite emotional. We got the DJ to play some Gaga because they hadn't heard that it was our culture. So we got them to play the music, and then we both sat down afterwards and thought, you know what? This needs to happen again. This needs to start again.
And you know what you forgot? They were trans, but they'd never met another trans person.
Yes, I'd forgotten about that.
So it was like super meaningful, and we were like, oh, we should really do more than one a year.
Well, we hadn't done one in 5 years.
No, we had done some just like once a year, just for different reasons, like and causes, or like just for pride or just for a social thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't well publicized. It wasn't not publicized.
It was almost like our own little thing for like a university collective or just a working group.
Sometimes
so it wasn't an official gay skate, but it was at the same time.
Sometimes we just did the Brisbane Pride calendar.
Yeah.
Which was fun. Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you had to keep it quite small and not publicize it in case the wrong crowd turned up?
Oh, yeah. And, you know, there's been those phases over the last few years where there has been some really awful backlash against our community, and we do get it online. And there's been a couple of times where I've talked to the rink management and their security about, like, hopefully it won't happen, but people might show up.
Yep.
So we get a lot of really awful stuff you could imagine, especially because it's family friendly. Mm-hmm. They're like, why are you so interested in kids? And I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, we have children.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't worry about it for us, but I worry about it for young people. But so far we've been okay. We've got a really strong community and a lot of us. So I think
we've got an amazing group of our community from the queer community as well as the ally community as well. We've got some amazing, we call them rink rats, so old school skaters that have been doing it forever. And they are, a couple of them are really burly straight men, the type that you would normally see as a queer person and go, oh, I'm a little bit worried about this person and how they're going to react. But these people are super allies, and they will, as soon as I've spoken to someone like Hebe, who's one of these people, like, this guy looks terrifying. He's got the plaited beard, he's got a mohawk, he's terrifying looking, but he's the sweetest guy. And I've said to him, there's a problem with someone out the front, and he's gone, don't worry about it. And he just goes and deals with it. And because he is so intimidating, people just go. But it's only ever happened at a Melbourne event that I was at with him that wasn't related to gay skate, but I know that he would just jump in and protect people. And there's people like that in our community that have just come organically.
Yeah, and the rink are great. They're awesome allies and parts of our community, and really long-standing relationship between us and them. So it's easy for us to create a safe space. So we're really lucky. And yeah, the gay skaters are fierce. Like not half of us, used to be, a good chunk of us are roller derby or ex-roller derby players. So
you're ready to fight.
That's pretty
if you
cool.
need to.
Yeah,
like,
look.
Push them out of the way, get down. Don't mess with the gay skate crew.
Yeah, you will all be assured of safety at gay skate and our events and anywhere that we are present.
We've been trained to knock people down on skates. So we're fine.
You guys are good.
Yeah.
We're not promoting violence. I'm just saying if it came to a derby, the gay skaters would win.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
If you're thinking about a pitiful protest, don't bother.
Yeah. That kind of allyship you were talking about with like a big burly straight man being so ready to jump in and defend our community gave me absolute goosebumps, because I think not enough people talk about how important that kind of allyship is, especially when we talk about stereotypically gay looking people versus like stereotypically straight looking people, and that kind of fear that we do have exposing ourselves to somebody who stereotypically does look so straight, and that can be scary. But to have that person turn around and be ready to fight for you, that's so... Oh, it just gave me goosebumps listening to Storm say that.
We have such an amazing group of people there, and families with straight parents and their kids, they're not part of our community in the sense of any of them are queer, but they are very much part of our community because they are coming along, they're supporting all the people, and they're there to have fun, and they love everyone that's there.
And we find it easier to say everyone's welcome because it's true, and you don't know what someone's connection is to the queer community. Like, I think before you come out, you are secretly part of the queer community, so you shouldn't have anyone like questioning you on the ad or at the door like, are you with us, are you one of us? So it's a safe place.
What letter are you?
Like, if you just somehow
Please fill out this
feel
survey.
Yeah.
like you feel like you'd like to be at a queer event, that is fine. We think of it as sharing queer culture. Like, this is what queer culture is. It's not just what you see on Drag Race. It's very much for us about the music and the socializing, the fashion, the fun, the laughs, and just the awesomeness. So we're happy to show other people, like, this is our community. It's diverse, it's strong, it's fun, it's really beautiful, it's really creative.
We actually have a few of the skaters that come along to our events are actually original skaters from the original Gay Skates in the early 80s.
Wow.
And they're coming to our event. When I found that out, I had goosebumps. I was nearly in tears. I was just so amazed because they absolutely love it. And they love seeing all the young people. They love seeing all the gender diverse, all the different sexualities, everyone representing themselves and being so out and proud. They just absolutely love it because they were so repressed back in the day.
You can just see when they are there, and now they're regulars at the rink as well. They just feel like they're home again. They're back home, they're themselves.
That's amazing.
That gave me
I
goosebumps
was like,
as well.
chills.
And so it's just a really good vehicle. Like, it's niche, it's skating, but also, like, if you think about mental health, what they say is good for mental health. It's like movement, using your body, music, being around people, chatting to people. So it sort of combines all those things sneakily to be a really great thing.
It's a wonderful, safe space.
Yeah. There's no drugs and alcohol, obviously, because you would not be insured.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah, so
And it's family friendly.
just naturally happens. Yeah, that it's a drug and alcohol free space, and it has things that are good for you.
And it's not a hookup focused event either, like traditional gay events at nightclubs and stuff like that. It's about community. It's about hanging out with people. Yes, some people do find...
They fall in love.
They fall in love. We do have a few that have fallen in love and are now couples and throuples, and it's so adorable.
God.
I know. They've come to the event and then they've just organically met people and formed friendships and friendship groups, and then some of them have paired off or grouped off, and
Yeah.
it's so cute.
That is beautiful.
That's also the importance of those kind of events, though, too. There's so many people, we see it on Facebook all the time. People are like, what events can I go to meet friends? Like, not even like sexually or relationship based. It's like a lot of people feel that isolation, whether that's from the fallout of COVID or whether it's just after coming out and maybe they've lost the support of family or friends that they've had before. And it's events like what you are both putting on that is leaving these people with a tribe to leave with.
Yeah.
Because I always think there's nothing worse than either like doing like a one-on-one coffee could be
so
awkward, or like even
Small talk.
or even like a coffee group, or just going to the nightclub hoping that you like lock eyes with someone. Like, there has to be something else, because all those things are tricky and awkward. Like, what we have is lucky because there's an activity, so we let people know who do want to come on their own and they're nervous, that it's sort of easy just to, you're doing something, you're just naturally like,
skate on in.
There's a little bit of like interactive like games and stuff that happens.
You're not sitting there on your phone because you can't be.
You can't be.
You're putting things on your feet that shouldn't be on your feet, and you're getting out on a very flat, smooth surface. So the only thing you're thinking about is staying upright.
Fighting for your life.
You're not. And then
Holding
people
on to
go,
the
hey,
rails.
I'll give you a hand. I'll help you. Oh, are you okay? I'll help you up. Or they just start chatting and, have you ddone this before? You should come to learn to skate, all this sort of stuff. They're not just sitting on their phones. It's expanding on that. I know I'm sounding old right now saying that, but it's true. Because they're a way
All
for...
these youngins on their phones. Oh my God.
I know. Yeah.
No, all I took from that was
beautiful.
if you're looking to meet someone, whether it's for a relationship or a friendship, you need to go to Gay Skate, you need to fall over. Someone will
much.
help you up. You might lock eyes with that person and something might bloom from there.
Literally.
Might be magical.
There's something about, it's like a little bit, you go in circles a bit. Something about going in circles where you just get a good idea of
bit of a
who's
meet
there.
cute moment.
Every terrible 80s movie was right. Just saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, a little bit of a meet cute.
Yeah, it's very cute. That's why all the meet cute books are written in skate rinks and ice skate rinks. Yeah.
Literally. That brings me to my next question, because we've been talking a lot about Gay Skate and all the events, and you guys said that you had to bring it back a little bit. But I just want to rewind and ask, when was the first ever Gay Skate event that you put on, and what was it like putting it all together?
It was easy for me. It was, I think, 13 years ago, whatever year that makes it, 2001. I think it must have been before, this is like old people talk. Like, it must have been before that big flood.
Yeah.
Because I know we did like I know we did like a fundraiser. So maybe around then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about 2011, about the 2011 floods.
Oh, yeah.
The reason
Yeah.
it was easy is because my skate rink manager and owner, Marty, is awesome and easy to work with, but mostly because I already lived at the skate rink because I was a roller derby girl. So it was just another day at the skate rink. And then I'm a social worker in real life, so it was easy for me to put it together and invite people and promote things and make up rules.
Yeah.
I got invited to go along because I'd been involved with roller derby as a photographer. I wasn't even out. I was not female, and
You were so nervous.
and I was with someone else at the time, and I got invited to go along to photograph it and to skate, and
She was nervous.
I was very nervous, very nervous.
Not
So
about the skating or anything.
just about
being there.
being there, because it
Yeah.
was
being gay.
It was
You're like,
almost
should I be
it was
there?
almost like my first true gay event. Actually, it was my first true gay event that I
Wow.
went
It was
to.
your queer debutante ball.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
Yes, I'm thinking about it now. It was my first gay event.
Because I remember, because we were
I haven't been
friends.
to them.
She was my photographer, and I was like, you should just come, like, obviously. And she was always like, yeah, no, you know what to wear. And I was like, weird. You're weirdly pressed about this. Like, it seemed obvious to me. Like, just like, we're all doing it. When you got there, I was like, oh, okay. Perhaps this is a new introduction
Yeah,
to something
this
for
world.
you.
So
That is so beautiful, honestly.
I
I
know,
thought she
it's
was a girl.
sickening.
I didn't know what gender she was.
It is.
No, she didn't know.
I love it.
I just
no one
love
knew
it.
what gender I was,
I was
even
like,
though
I
I
don't
was straight married.
seemed kind of gay to me.
It doesn't even matter what gender you were. It's
It really
who you are
didn't.
now.
No. Also, the name Gay Skate is like you, just gay stuff. Like, it's a catch-all term, and it's cute and fun. But it was the original name of the
the
event.
legacy name, yeah.
So sometimes at different
Yeah.
venues, you'll see it. We call it Pride Skate or Rainbow Skate. It is actually for everyone.
Alphabet Mafia.
Yes, but
Easier.
we
Yeah.
just say Gay Skate because it's cute.
It is.
Yeah.
cute.
And it's historical.
Yeah, I think for us, I grew up in that time where I believe gay was such an umbrella term, kind of like how we
Yeah.
use queer now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was never just like men who like other men. Gay for
Yeah.
me, I've always
You still identify sometimes.
I
as-
always identify as gay because I have a really like troublesome relationship with the word lesbian because it was so derogatory throughout my high school.
I just read today it's out of fashion. I was like, being lesbian's out of
Yeah.
fashion. Like,
Yeah, because it's sapphic now.
sapphic,
Sapphic,
women loving
yeah.
women. Pansexual's big, bisexual's big, but lesbian's pretty rare. So
Although
Yeah,
the
but
sapphic
how
flag
beautiful is the word
adorable.
sapphic?
It's such
How
a beautiful
beautiful
word.
is the word,
The flag
though?
is, we love the
once you
flag.
see the
That's
flag, you'll know.
It's all pink and it has a flower on it, and
pink
we
and
just
purple.
adore it. It's adorable.
Oh, okay. Well, I know what we're doing after this.
yeah.
Googling the flag.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about putting the event back on and keeping the legacy alive, how have you seen that progression from 2011 to the events that you're doing now?
I think what I notice now, and like this is a grandma thing to say, that young people are more confident in their identity and coming out younger. So we always had young people, but now I am telling you, sometimes the most typical person at the event might be 11 to 14-year-old non-binary pansexual. And it just blows my
Wow.
mind
Yeah.
because I knew about gay people. I knew gay people, but I just never had that awareness of myself.
They're all aware.
And
They're all clarifying each other's pronouns when they first speak to each other, and these are that's
so
not something that
beautiful.
we've said, hey, when you turn up, make sure you check pronouns. They're just turning up and meeting people and going, oh, what's your pronouns? And that just kids saying it. It's just like, it blows my mind that they're just so aware of it all, and they're just
Yeah.
talking to people, and they're apologizing if they've said the wrong pronoun or said the wrong name, or it's incredible. They just know.
It's
they
great.
just
It's
know.
wild,
They
honestly.
just yeah, and
It's
they're so
such a
self-aware.
wild- Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wild level of respect for everyone, isn't it? That's so crazy.
They're great communicators. The way they put themselves together to dress up or wear costumes is amazing. They have really great friendship groups, and I realized how important social media is because, like, mostly we just run on Facebook and Instagram, but they all find each other and they're all friends and they just find their tribes so easily once that connection's been made. And I was like, oh wow, it's a different world. Also, there's heaps more rainbow families because I guess we've had a rainbow family baby boom over that time. So that's fun.
Which is kind of why we think Gay Skate's so important, because there isn't really any other events out there that are for families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so rare. Even Pride and that sort of thing still has alcohol and raunchy dancing
It's a big day.
and a lot of that sort of adult aspects to it, but there's not a lot of events that are family focused.
I think what's different though with Gay Skate is that it's family focused and child friendly, but it's still a very fun and funky event. You know what I mean? You don't feel like you're at a kid's event.
Yeah, like I'm playing nightclub style music when I'm DJing the events. It's not just typical Taylor Swift, that sort of thing, which to be honest, I've never played a Taylor Swift song.
You're not just playing Baby Shark.
We're not playing Baby Shark. There's nightclub lighting. Like it's almost like a blue light disco, but good
event.
Yeah.
It's a feel good event. That's the best way to put it. Yeah.
As we touched on just briefly then was the frequency of family-friendly Pride events as well. Like even the events that Lauren and I have been invited to go to, they're so few and far between. And like for us, we're like, we want to get out and we want to get in the community and we want to meet people. And obviously with the podcast, we want as many people to listen to it as possible. Yeah. But there's only so many events throughout the year that you can do that at. And so when you're creating events that people can go to and other queer, I guess, businesses can get amongst and, you know, show their support to the community, we're like, oh, what's the next thing?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You do gain a lot of momentum, which is why we've kind of committed now to running 4 to 6 events each year, because young people's lives go so fast that it's something they look forward to and it's easier for that connections to work. So yeah, we do run them sort of every couple of months now, and we try and be a little bit predictable about it, but not too much because you don't want people to miss out on the FOMO. Because you got to keep them coming out of their house.
Yeah. And I did want to ask you both, what is the most favourite thing about Gay Skate?
Skating.
Yeah, look, we're tragic.
We're old school rink rats. We've been skating since the 80s. So we're basically putting an event on just to hang out with our friends on roller skates.
We make a lot of new friends.
Yeah.
And it is a really fun thing to do, and it doesn't suit everyone, but it does suit a lot of people, which is why in the past everyone was skating, like in the 80s. In the 90s we're all rollerblading. Like it is something that a lot of people can do, and it is actually very fun. It's like an endorphin bringing thing. And I think with the music and using your body, particularly for young people and genderqueer people, just to be using your body rather than like thinking.
I think a really important thing for genderqueer people and trans people, speaking as a trans person that got back into skating after transition, is you're not thinking about your body in the way of, do I look the way I want to look in that inverted commas pass as such or anything like that. You're not thinking about that. You're thinking about the technique of moving your feet and staying upright. And especially when you're doing lessons, that's all you're thinking about. And it's almost like a break away from your own brain and your own thought processes. You can actually just focus on one thing and focus on your body in a different way that you're used to focusing on it. So it's really good for the mental health in that sense.
Yeah.
And as an adult, you forget that like how fun it is to like learn something new and bust like a little trick or do a little like something, and you're like, ooh, and like your friends are like, oh my God, like everyone's always learning and growing. Like whether you're brand new or you've skated a bit or you skated a lot, everyone's still always working on their own style, their own little.
Or if you're trying something and then you get it, you see the kids at the skate park or anywhere that they get that trick and they're so ecstatic. Yes. It's the same when you're 46.
Same feeling.
It's the same thing. You're so ecstatic. You're so happy.
Amazing.
The feeling is no different.
And I suppose as well, it's zero judgment zone. If you flatten yourself,
nobody cares.
It's almost like you're almost getting praised when you are trying and fall over and in inverted commas fail.
Like,
you're not failing. You're just like, yes, you're pushing yourself that further.
You had a go.
If you've fallen, you might meet that person that's going to help pick you up.
Literally.
So,
I learned a lot of the
win-win.
time it's us.
It's usually Jazz or I.
A really nice lady will still help you.
That's what's important here.
That is important.
Yeah.
By everything that you're saying, especially from like taking yourself out of yourself essentially for the time that you're at Gay Skate or at an event, and all the mental health aspects, you're literally like going into a Gay Skate event and leaving nourished.
Yeah.
Like in so many ways.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, as most people know, we like to take things back a little bit.
We like to do a little zoomy back to queer beginnings.
We do, a zooming back to queer beginnings, because we have done our coming out story. We've done many other people's coming out stories.
And we like to ask you your coming out stories.
Yeah. So what was your queer journey like for both of you?
I did it so badly.
She did it backwards.
I did it backwards.
There's no right or wrong way.
There's no right or wrong way.
Yeah,
I'm the one always telling everyone. I did a talk at uni, like there's no wrong way to come out.
There's no wrong way to come out, except I totally did it wrong.
I don't know what you were doing.
I don't know what I was doing. I didn't come out officially and start my transition until I was 36. And 5 years before that, I was a freelance photographer. The business was going really slow at the time, and I had to go and get a day job. And I got a job at a finance company doing collections in a call center. Worst job ever. And so I interviewed
no offense to
as
anybody.
myself, shirt, tie, the works. I then got dressed to go to the job on my first day, and I had a complete dysphoric meltdown that I didn't even know what dysphoria was. And I went, screw it. I put on a dress, I put on heels, makeup, I did the works, and I went to this job, and I worked there for 2 years. Even though I'd interviewed and been employed as male, I went to this job and worked there as one of the female staff long before I actually came out. I was straight married. I used to pick my then wife up after work, and we used to go to dinner, and I was fully dressed up as my true self. But I wasn't out. I wasn't trans, no.
Executive crossdresser.
Like the comedian said, I was an executive transvestite, as they called it. I left there because I hated that job, even though I loved being my true self. And I went back to working in motorsport and doing freelance on the side, being a male.
I don't know what you were.
I don't know.
No one knew.
This is before
non-binary.
Sort of non-binary. The androgynous was more the term, so that was kind of more my vibe. Feminine style clothes, jeans and shirts and tops and that sort of thing, but still presenting in a way that was legally male.
Yeah.
I remember Jas coming in a few times to the motorsport workshop to chat before we started dating, and being in hysterics because a customer would come in and say she, her, and then another one would come in while the other one's waiting and they would say he, him. But it wouldn't matter. You just go for it.
That line was so fine.
And I was involved in a roller derby before I came out, and the rumor going around was that I was a woman that transitioned to be a man, but I still dressed and was a woman some of the times. So that was the rumor going around roller derby at the time. So it was, no one knew. Jas actually invited me to women's only events with my now ex-wife, but we were not lesbians.
I was like, I got long hair and ladies' pants on. They're lesbians.
As I said, I never worked out how to be the guy. I never got it right. Even though I was in motorsport, even though I was in fishing and those sort of sports and that sort of thing, I worked in those industries. I was still very much not the guy at all. I just never got it right until a friend of mine passed away in Melbourne, and I realised life is too short. I just need to do something about it. And so I went and made that choice to finally move forward and become the true person I am, which is great. But back in my early days, you couldn't be a trans woman and be attracted to women. You couldn't be that. It was, if you're transitioning, you have to be attracted to men. You have to become a straight woman.
What?
Being a trans woman that's attracted to women and being with a woman as a lesbian, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm sure it existed, but it wasn't known. It wasn't in any of the online forums or anything like that.
Brisbane
that wasn't a thing.
was a very difficult place.
Brisbane was a
that.
very difficult place,
For that particularly. For
Touching on
transphobia.
that really quickly, that false precedent though is that like becoming straight is the goal.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not the goal. The goal is just to be
you.
who I want to be.
Yeah.
And then like your sexuality is no one's business. So many people outside of the queer community, and probably some people still inside the queer community, think that the goal is to present straight. And it's like, that's not it at all.
No, that's exactly right. And I think that's what caused me to sort of not understanding of myself in the true sense, because I always thought it can't be what I think it is. It can't be what I believe I am and the way my life needs to go, because that wasn't a thing. So,
How could you be gay?
Yeah. Well,
But you weren't gay.
Even for yourself, you couldn't be a femme lesbian. You had to shave your head and wear docs.
We're the same age.
I heard this.
Yeah,
Back in
we're the
day,
same
it was
age.
like-
So the 90s.
We're both 46. So
In Brisbane, like I went to like lesbian social group stuff and they were just like, oh, you can't wear a dress to the Wickham. Like having long hair and a dress, you were just overlooked as not a lesbian. And to the point where I was like, oh, I'm not a lesbian. Like I just can't get it right. I literally just quit. I was like, oh, it's just never working out. So I got a husband with my best friend. So I was like, oh, well, it's just too hard.
Like a lot of us from that Gen sort of X era, we had to go down that line because that was the only path that we could see. That was the only path that we knew of. There was no representation. There was no knowledge. Even the ones in the community, unless you fit the stereotype of shaved head, dock-wearing lesbian or Twinkie guy or bear, then you didn't fit anywhere.
Yeah.
And so therefore you couldn't be one of the community. You obviously are not gay. So you need to go and be straight.
I mean, even on practical terms, like where were you going to go out? Like where were you going to go out as a fledgling trans woman? Like you weren't. You were just going to get punched in the face. Like,
in the 90s, the rave community was very accepting and very loving. But even then, if you were a gay guy or a lesbian, then you were super accepted. But if you were trans in any way, the old T-slur was thrown around immediately and you were punched in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went out once at the Wickham as my true self it would have been the early 2000s, and a shaved head, dock-wearing lesbian punched me in the face at the bar of the Wickham because they hit on me and then they were like, oh, hang on, you're not a typical lesbian or female. I'm going to punch you in the face. I was shook. It just, I couldn't believe I'd going to this place that I was supposed to be accepted at and supposed to be loved and supposed to be part of that community immediately. That's why it took so long for me to come out in the end, because you couldn't exist. It wasn't a possibility.
It's totally understandable, especially in terms of like, I think about when I, as a 90s kid, was thinking, oh, wow, I think I like girls. Oh my God, what's everybody going to think of me? And I kept thinking, oh, how do you even find a girlfriend?
Well, that's what worried me. Like how? Yeah. Like literally
like
how?
If you like someone and you risk telling them that you like them and they didn't like you back, it was like, oh, she's a lesbian. Oh,
it's
boo.
the worst. Like, no, that was my life. Like it was terrible.
Because you had girls that you liked at high school in the mid-90s. And
even if they were
early
queer,
90s,
their
actually.
own, like the homophobia in society and their internalized homophobia would kick in at some point and it would be awful and dramatic and heartbreaking every time. Yeah. And it wasn't just the relationship, it was literal society stuff around like, oh, I told my mum you're doing that gay shit again, like, and she wants me to have a boyfriend. Like you just couldn't catch a break.
Yeah. You couldn't, because I was so badly bullied in high school. My parents took me to a counsellor to try and help with the dark thoughts that I was having because of the daily bullying. I went to Churchy, an all-boys school, probably the worst
Shout
in
out to
Brisbane.
Churchy.
Makers of men. That's their motto. It's great.
I love that.
Makers of men.
Example.
Bitches failed. Because I went there and I was beaten every day. I was bullied so badly every day. It was
for being gay.
It was pure hell. Yeah, they called me gay, and I was like, I'm not gay. I'm not gay.
You're like, dudes, I love women.
I love girls so much.
Yeah. But I went to this counsellor, and you had to fill out a form to say all the stuff that you're feeling and that sort of thing. And on the back, I wrote in big block letters, I am a girl. And they never acknowledged it. They never dealt with it, never listed it. I was probably 14 when I wrote that at a counsellor because I was desperate for help and there was nothing out there. There was no information. And the only thing you ever saw in representation terms was the serial killer on TV or the hooker on TV or something like that.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. I hated Rocky Horror Picture Show. I despised it because it was so
triggering.
It was so triggering.
We can reclaim that now.
I can totally reclaim it now.
But yeah.
But at the time, everything depicted trans people or queer people as the villain. We've spoken about this. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Silence of the Lambs. That's...
Hannibal Lecter.
Yep.
She made a joke today about herself like, oh, I'm not a cross-dressing pervert anymore. And I was like, were you ever a cross-dressing pervert or were you just a girl? And even in her own mind, I guess I was just some kind of pervert. It's like, that is how entrenched it is.
Yeah. And how drilled society can just like drill this idea into you. Oh, I must be this. Oh, well, I must be this.
I'm a freaking pervert.
There's like no space to just like self-discover.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And especially coming out later in life, you kind of mourn what could have been, especially being at Gay Skate. And I'm seeing these teenagers and young people all coming out, living their truth and living vibrantly and just so happily that I mourn that I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Getting emotional.
I think it's still really hard for them,
emotional.
but it's different hard.
Yeah, no doubt it's still difficult out there. We know that. That's why we put these events on.
Like growing up trans people just having homes and families and kids and wives and You just wouldn't think that was possible.
Because they have that representation. They have that ability to send a message to someone like myself or like anyone out there that's in our community and say, hey, help, I need this. I need to ask these questions. What do I do? There was no elder trans people back then, or even elder gays, unless you were deeply in that scene.
Yeah. Even for kids back then, talking about representation on television and things like that, even the trans people that you saw on TV that were representing villains and things like that, they weren't real trans people.
No.
And trans people weren't visible in society. So it's not like these kids could, as you said, reach out and message someone and go, I'm feeling this. Have you felt this way? Am I like this? Can you give me some clarity on who I am? We had just actors dress up as other people all the time. And then it's like, you know.
didn't have social media where you could message them or email them or read about their biography on Wikipedia. Like,
yeah, that too.
I have this deep memory, and it's a real niche memory. I'm pretty sure no one listening, unless maybe a very select few, might remember it. But there was a car reviewer. I can't remember what TV show it was. It was one of the TV shows we had in the 80s and into the early 90s. And one of the car reviewers, I think probably 89 or 90, came out back then as a crossdresser because he'd been seen, or they had been seen out and about. And I so clearly remember them being interviewed about it. And the interviewer just destroyed them and shredded them on TV. And then they were never seen again. They were never mentioned again. They were never seen again. It was just demolished from society. And they were seen as the pinnacle of automotive journalism in Australia. And they just got scorched earth, just gone. And I've never found anything about them since. I haven't found anything about them since. But
that sends a great message for kids, doesn't it? Like, for you as a person growing up and seeing that and going, oh, this person came out and lived their true self and now I don't know where the fuck they are. Yeah. That's a great message to send to people, right?
The media just scorched them.
You don't know what's going to happen to me.
Yeah, everything was negative towards them and then they just vanished. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. It's so entrenched in my mind.
Yeah.
Wild.
I know that you said that your coming out story was a little bit the wrong way, but I just want to touch on the first thing that you said about going to work as female presenting. Essentially, you got paid to just dress as yourself, and that's what I took away from that. So that's positive.
Absolutely. I so remember turning up and then the people that were interviewing me were like, oh, hi, what was your name? And then reintroducing myself. I'm glad my parents were hippies and named me Storm because it was...
That's her birth name.
That's my birth name, so I'm lucky.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a girl's name. I'm convinced.
I grew up on a yacht in far north Queensland, so hippie life.
That's awesome.
One of the things I always say is I didn't own shoes until I was 10, but now I've made up for it.
Oh, yeah. And wheelie shoes.
Yeah. Turning up to the job and reintroducing myself and the people that had interviewed me stuttering and unable to speak because they didn't know how to react, but me just still speaking to them like, what is the problem? Is there an issue here? And just being so damn confident.
Have no plan?
I had no plan.
No plan.
No plan.
You
I just walked in the door and just went for it. And
you did the Courtney Act Australian Idol thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You went in one day as Courtney.
Yes.
And the other day
No, literally. That's what I was thinking. There's someone who's done this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then was like, not a word ever spoken.
Not a word spoken. Never.
That's awesome.
Never a word spoken. And I didn't.
So you did it the wrong way, but
I just didn't say it to anyone. I just introduced myself as Storm. That was it. Everyone just treated me as myself, as Storm.
Like,
and
that's
just
pretty
the confidence.
privileged. But you know, a lot of people, I don't know if they could pull that off. I think you had a lot of years of experience of the executive cross-dressing to like just pull that off.
Yeah.
Like, it's the dream, really.
But also, do you think there's like a level of acceptance that comes with going into a situation so confident and not making like a big deal, and you were just like, do you know what? This is who I am. You'll accept me. I don't know how this will go, but this is what I'm putting out.
Confidence is absolute power. And if you go in with full confidence, like I did, and like I've done in many situations, people lose their power of being hateful towards you. Because you're so confident, they're intimidated by you. I've had situations where people have been at my previous job where they were super homophobic, and because I was so confident, they backed down.
Yeah.
They're just like, I'm hitting a wall here.
Yeah.
You know, the confidence is what they're terrified of.
Be queer, be a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think if you are really out and proud, it gives people a lot less to pick on you about. We were joking about this recently, like hopefully it doesn't happen to young people as much, but we always used to get yelled at on the street. And like, you'd be like, yep, what of it? Like, rather than oh no, they think I'm gay, you'd be like, yay! Like, you're just calling my name. Like, if you're calling out a gay word about me, I'm
slur.
like, yep, check in.
Yeah.
Checking in. Try harder.
Yeah. Like one of the T-shirts that I ended up making with skating is gay on the T-shirt. It's because I was skating on the street and someone yelled from a car, it was probably a Commodore, that skating is gay. And I'm like, fact, it is gay, actually. I'm going to make a shirt about it.
What's the hardest part about rollerblading?
Telling your parents that you're gay.
That's how we grew up.
That's how we grew up. Yep.
I got rollerblades for Christmas and now it's so true. I was like 10.
Yeah, I think I got mine at like 14. You probably got them about the same.
13, yeah.
Yeah, 1992 or something like that.
The real rollerblade.
And as soon as you put them on and went out there, all the skateboarders were just immediately calling you everything under the sun that was a slur.
Wow.
Until 5 minutes ago, I was still calling them fruity boots.
Yes.
Not thinking that's actually a slur.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's just a fact.
We called them fruity boots right up until very recently. Even I was on them and I was calling them fruity boots.
All right, Jas, what about for you? What's your coming out
Yeah,
story?
I just said it a little bit before. I always had girlfriends. I didn't need to come out. I think my family were just like, yep. I don't know. I think if you know your kids, you know sometimes.
You were confident. You were just like, Mum and Dad, it's me, whatever.
It didn't go well. None of the girlfriends worked out. It was all difficult. And I quit. I resigned from that. I just thought
you gave your toaster back. Yeah.
I never ever said bisexual. Like I never felt bisexual, but I was also like, well, yeah, I probably always have a girlfriend, but it's not working out. So I'll kind of resign from that full time. And then I married my bestie. No one was getting married. I was young. I got engaged at 21 and married at 23 because I wanted a really nice home and a family. And I wore pink dresses and had long hair. And I was like, okay, we're going to do that. And it was great. We were together for a long time before that, but within 2 years we were separated, and he told me, Jas, just go be a lesbian. I think you're a lesbian, in a really nice way. Like, we probably should have a break. Pretty sure you're a lesbian. And I was like, excuse me, what evidence? And he was like, oh, all those like girlfriends. And I was like, mind your business.
Show me the evidence. Oh, well, there's this and there's this. And,
and like you go out to the, I don't know if people remember.
Here's the evidence.
Like, you're at Ogden's nightclub every Saturday night. And I was like, yeah, so. So then I just went and was gay, did crime.
I
still lost friends. Like, even after all that, and I was always a great ally. I went to Pride. I was the best ally.
Yeah.
Probably because you're a bit more than an ally.
Yeah, I did all of that. And then I didn't think it would be a big deal. Like, it was a big deal for me. Like, oh my God, this is different and new. And I remember that, like, first time actually having like a proper relationship with a woman and just like crying, like, what have I been doing with my life? Why did I waste my life? Oh my God, I've been like, this is horrible. But it still surprised me that I lost friends.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I had a husband and like, it didn't work out. It was very sad. Like, it was devastating. But then I'd be like, is this girlfriend? And people would just be like, either be like, no big deal, or they'd just be like, never talking to you again. And I was like, oh my God, see?
Something I've learned as an adult, though, which has nothing to do with being queer, is that some people that you have in your life want you to be a certain person for them. And when you're not that person, suddenly they just wash their hands of you and move on.
I said this to a good friend of mine, Sean, who interviewed me on 4ZZZ, that you never lose a friend. When you come out, you don't lose a friend. Yeah. You never lose any friends because they're not friends.
True.
And
that's so true.
I remember saying that to Sean when she was in roller derby and stuff like that. So that's how we knew each other. And I said to her that line, and she was saying that is what was the catalyst for going, screw it, I'm going to be myself. Because, you don't lose friends at all.
Yeah,
that's true.
And then great events like yours is how you find your true friends and your true tribe.
You find your people.
Yeah, and it's a really common experience. And I have to say a lot of mine was fear because like you, I thought, how will I ever meet a nice girl and like one that likes me? And actually, I don't even like a lot of girls. Like, just because you're gay doesn't mean you're like, I don't know. I was like, I'm never going to find anyone, never going to like me back, I'm never going to be loved, I may as well just not do this. Mm-hmm. And then as a social worker and working with young people, even older queer people coming out, everyone feels that. They're like, like, it's hard enough to straight date, let alone date in a tiny little minority group of people that a lot of them I don't even like.
Yeah.
Literally, but as in a dating sense. It's so true. You do think, how am I going to ever meet anyone, and how am I going to find someone I like and they like me back? Like, it's just never going to happen. That really terrified me.
So speaking on that,
Yeah.
how did you guys meet and date and all of
Well,
that?
how did you meet first? Because we know
Fun.
that you went to gay skate events together.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
knew each other.
It's
a funny story.
Well, Jas was...
we met I was on roller skates.
She was on roller skates, actually. So Jas started the Northern Brisbane Rollers roller derby league and then built it up to the point where they were doing events at the Brisbane Convention Centre with 5,000 plus spectators, turning people away at the door at the convention centre because there was too many people.
That's amazing.
Friends of mine had bought tickets and I went along with my then friends, who funnily enough are not friends
Are no
because
longer friends.
I've lost them
They
all.
weren't friends.
Nope. But I went along and I had been that day photographing motorsport. So I had really big long lens for motorsport, that sort of things. I didn't have my proper gear. I wasn't going to take it in. My ex-wife at the time said, take it, just go and shoot, it'll be fun. And the first photo I took of roller derby was her.
Wow.
And then I posted the photos online that night and
Do you want to see what happened? So in the league, I did lots of different jobs as a director, but they said, can you find a stable of photographers? So I was like, yeah, cool. And then I remember Facebook, like, I don't even think it was even like an app yet. Like, log onto the computer, looked at a lot of photos because it was a big event, heaps and heaps of photos. It was like the first time social media really hit me, like, whoa, there's like all these photos of me on the internet. And some were really good and some weren't that good. And some were actually a little bit like upskirty because it's a bit of we were a little bit cute.
It was all fishnets and micro hot pants and makeup and low cut tops and stuff.
So we're just going through.
It was a show as well as a sport.
A friend and I were just going through, and these great photos kept popping up with this one little like watermark, and I was like, right, we like this person. And I was looking for women because it was at that point a women's sport, and also, like I said, I didn't want these male gaze photos that we were often getting. So I was like, this one, and I had a look. Yep, this one's a woman. And great photos.
She didn't know that, but
I was like, hey, and the name didn't help. Like, I don't know.
Storm, long hair, kind of pretty.
I think even the watermark was a little woman, like a geisha.
It was a geisha,
Yeah, right. So I don't know. Just I could all add it up. A plus B. Anyway, so I was like,
I was a terrible man. I was awful.
A plus B equals 2.
I was like, hey, we like your photos. Do you want to meet up and talk about photographing some of our events? I'm like, yep, cool. We played the bout. Then we met up. I'm like, hey.
Met up, yeah.
I'm
and
like,
we were
obviously
friends.
this is a lady.
We became friends
We
for
were friends,
years.
just like for photography. A little bit hanging out.
We
not
were
much.
with different people and those relationships fell apart. Mine because I came out and it was done.
I eventually figured
And then-
out you were a different type of lady because someone said to me, you're calling Storm a girl, you should check that. And I was like, oh my God. Like, 'cause it was
You'd been
before you
using-
talked about pronouns. Like, it was that
this
long
was
ago.
before that.
We
yeah.
didn't do that. And so I'd been she, her, and her. And then I saw their wedding photos because I was stalking online, I think, because I was panicking.
As we all do.
And their wedding photos had a legal wedding certificate, the signing part. And I was like, oh, shit. Because I knew that your ex-partner was definitely a lady.
Yeah.
And I was like, one of you is not a lady. That's legal marriage. And we didn't have legal marriage. And that's why I was like, oh, cool. It didn't really change anything. But I do still remember
we'd been both single for some time and then
a year at
least a year. And then Jas was like, hey.
I was trying to date.
She tried Tinder like one night.
I tried to date. I tried online dating. I was a mum. I was like, I haven't done this for so long. I was trying the apps and I was like, what will I wear? Because I've been a mum. Like, you just have nothing. And then I was looking on Black Milk. No, the copy of
Living Dead.
Living Dead
clothing, which doesn't exist anymore. It was Lycra sublimated clothing.
It's like Black Milk.
I was
Like
their
Black
photographer.
Milk, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I was
like
looking
Black
for
Milk.
a dress and I'd picked this dress and I was looking through the pictures to figure out the size after having a baby. I was like, I don't know. And I saw a picture of Storm in the dress. I was at work, online shopping at work.
So that was another thing that I did wrong. Before coming out, I modeled women's fashion for a fashion label. Because
I was looking for a dress to wear on a date and I looked at the dress and I saw Storm because they had a different model for each size and I was like, oh, size 16. So I right to Storm, opened another browser like, hey, I saw you on there. Do you think that size would be the right size for me? And she's like, oh, probably don't buy the dress. I've got so many of them. I'll just give you one. And I was like, score. So we just like, let's meet up to do that.
And we're literally like,
and she's like, she's like, I'm just transitioning now. And I was like, oh, wow, that's so great. And then I saw her.
I thought you had ages ago.
Yeah, no, she's like, I'm transitioning now. I was like, whatever.
I swear,
you said you started
I swear
HRT.
you could smell the estrogen.
We met up. And I still remember we were at Newstead, like, through the thing. And I was like, gosh, she looks so good. Like, she looked so good. I was like, shit. And she was like, I haven't had time to get dressed. So she's wearing, like, her garage clothes, but it was, like, tight black jeans and a tight black shirt. So I was just like, ooh. And then my mum had said, I'll babysit for you if you want to go on dates after work. And I was like, weird. Okay. And I was like, well, I'm going to have coffee with a friend. And I told another friend and everyone said, how was that? And was that a date? And I was like, no, I'm in love. No, but I'm in love. I was like, that's it. I'm done.
Cute.
We all know lesbian first dates just last forever.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
still
So
on that date.
that was like 10 years ago now.
Are we?
Oh,
He's still on
yeah.
the date.
Literally still on the
Honestly.
date. Yes.
I was like, so are we, to be
My
fair.
face is so sore from smiling. My cheeks hurt so bad.
That was a great story.
Did you have a first date that just never ended?
Yeah.
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 It just be like that.
Yeah.
It was weird. I didn't expect that.
No, neither of us.
Especially because we knew
neither
each
of us.
other.
We were just going to see a friend we hadn't seen in like a year.
And like, oh,
So-
I've been broken up. Oh, me too. Yeah, it's like whatever. I need this dress. Like, we'll just catch up.
I just
I
remember
never
saying.
had any of those feelings because, like, I figured out. I guess I was like,
Yeah.
oh, she's a
But
husband.
I remember saying
She's a
to
husband.
Jazz,
She's
that was a
that's
husband,
someone's
yeah.
husband. Sorry.
But I remember saying to Jazz that I had come out and that I'd separated and I was more of a lesbian and I was actually, I think you'd call it a lipstick lesbian because femme who likes
And then you
femmes.
said you liked femmes, and I was like, oh, me too. Like, this is how we'd be chatting. Oh yeah, me too. Oh yeah. And
It was like silence.
hang on. It was like, hang
Then
on.
you both just
like,
knew.
What? Are you
Yeah,
telling me?
it was literally like the meme of all the maths equations going through the screen.
It was so cinematic and it started to rain.
There was a thunderstorm, and I was like, so, oh my god.
I am so making this movie.
I was looking at her, and I'm telling you, lightning and thunder was crackling behind her, and I was like, oh my god, a storm, and I thought it was hilarious, and she was like, shot me down like worst joke ever, and I was like, oof.
Yeah, I've heard them all.
But to me, it was like, whoa,
yeah.
And then you're like, I really need that kind of challenge in my life. You're it.
pretty much. Yeah, and then we were just gonna see each other, whatever.
Just see what happens. Because being a single mum,
and she always never wanted kids.
I never wanted
she used
kids.
to say she hated kids, so I was
disliked.
like,
yeah.
I have a baby. Sorry. And then,
Oh my god.
eventually I was like, do you want to meet her? She's pretty great. And I was like, it's just like one plus another one.
It wasn't that I didn't like children, it's that I disliked the idea of being a dad. I think that was it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But now,
You guys always got along.
yeah, we did.
No, you've been the parent this whole time.
Yeah, been parent to her since she was 1, so.
That's amazing.
It's a very
You both
cute.
that's so,
So
cute.
cute.
Oh my god, I love this. Bringing it back to Gay Skate, thank you both so much
Thank
for joining
you.
us.
Yes, thank you.
And
Happy
just to touch on why events like Gay Skate are so important, it's about having not just representation in the media now, but having that real life representation of queer families and other
Literally.
people. If you're trying to find yourself, you can find your tribe at a Gay Skate event. And thank you both so much for putting those events on.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
great. This is great.
So we're going to end on a fun question.
Oh, we are. Okay, yes. If you could invite any celebrity alive or passed away to come to a Gay Skate event, who would it be?
I've thought about this. I did say Chapel Roan would love Gay Skate, but also Gaga, Lady Gaga.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think I could handle that, so I'd probably have to go with Chapel. She would love Gay Skate. She has videos skating. She skates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's going to sound funny, but I reckon Keanu Reeves would love it. I know. I think Keanu Reeves
He
would
would
really enjoy Gay Skate.
I was not expecting that.
Matrix
but yeah.
his way through there.
Yes.
Yeah, he'd be so chill and he would get out there and you just know he'd be able to skate.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
totally.
Absolutely.
Does he do his own stunts? Is he
Patrick
like
Swayze?
Tom
I
Cruise?
think so, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
totally. He
Although
Swayze?
Patrick Swayze,
He's
because
a
Patrick
skater.
Swayze did a movie in 1981, which we swear is the reason Gay Skate started in 1982.
Oh my God,
Probably.
probably.
79, 80. What was it? Skate Town, USA.
Skate Town USA
Wow.
was released in 1981 in Australia, and in 1982,
Gay skate.
Well, he was skating this flamboyant skate in the tightest black
Shirtless
pants.
with tight black pants.
So you know that's why it started.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the
100%.
campus.
Oh, it was the
thing I've
campus
ever
movie
seen.
ever. So if you ever sort of want
So
to
he would slay.
turn your brain off and have a bit of a laugh at something really camp and 80s,
Always.
Yeah, Skate Town.
Skate Town USA is probably was
Way better than Xanadu. Don't
Yeah,
bother with
don't
Xanadu.
bother with
Just go
Xanadu.
with
Skate Town
Xanadu.
USA is so much better.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank
both sharing your
you.
stories with us today. We are definitely going to make sure we're going to eventually get to a gay skate event.
Yes, we've been trying for ages.
I mean, we absolutely love what you do, but I also want to see Lauren stack it
Hey.
because she is the most uncoordinated person that I know.
It's true.
Wonderful. You never know, though.
You never know. The uncoordination might actually be in your favour on skates.
You never know.
Ooh.
Well, we hope that everybody has truly enjoyed Storm and Jasmine from Gay Skate here in the pod lab with us, Just Gay Stuff podcast.
Ooh.
And go and follow Gay Skate too, by the
Yeah,
way.
they're doing awesome events everywhere.
We'll put all the links in the show notes so you can follow along on Instagram, Facebook, and every time there's an event, we'll share it along. So if anybody is looking to find themselves on a pair of fruity boots, get to Gay Skate. Until next week.
I think you better remember to...
Stay gay, motherfuckers!
Yay! Thank you.
I'm talking about, you're talking about, we're talking about just gay stuff.
Hey, stay gay, motherfuckers.
Stay gay, motherfucker.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Just Gay Stuff. Make sure to follow us at Just Gay Stuff Podcast on all your socials and write to us with your stories at justgaystuffpodcast@gmail.com.